In a solemn and historic hall, a large crowd of supporters and government officials gathered to hear President Donald Trump's speech. With confidence and determination, he reaffirmed his commitment to reforming the Department of Justice, DOJ, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. Ending 4 years of corruption, abuse of power, and rampant crime under the previous administration. I have appointed the best people to ensure justice is fair and impartial. President Trump declared. He highlighted key figures leading this reform, including Pam Bondi, tasked with leading the DOJ, Kash Patel, the newly appointed FBI director, and other top officials such as Chad Meisel, Leo Terrell, and Gail Slater. He emphasized that these individuals were courageous, highly capable, and prepared to take on the enormous challenges ahead. President Trump did not hold back in condemning those who had weakened the American justice system. He recalled the misconduct of corrupt officials who abused their power to manipulate elections, orchestrate smear campaigns, and suppress patriotic citizens. They tried to turn America into a corrupt nation. But in the end, they failed. Truth prevailed, justice prevailed, and most importantly, the American people prevailed, he declared passionately. Throughout his speech, he criticized the dangerous policies that had undermined America, releasing violent criminals, prosecuting those who upheld traditional values, and allowing waves of illegal immigration to flood the country. We cannot allow our nation to be controlled by those who do not respect law and justice, he asserted. As he concluded, President Trump delivered a resolute message. The dark days are over. We will restore America's greatness, where law is enforced fairly and the people are protected from bad actors. Thunderous applause filled the hall. A new chapter in American justice was beginning, driven by President Trump's unwavering leadership and commitment to the rule of law. In a historic moment, President Trump stood before a packed audience, addressing the deep corruption that had plagued the American justice system. With the overwhelming support of the American people, he vowed to cleanse the government of rogue actors and restore integrity to law enforcement. The American people have given us a mandate, he declared. They demand a far-reaching investigation into the corruption that has infested our system. And that is exactly what Pam, Kash, and the others will carry out. With conviction, he promised to expose the egregious crimes committed at the highest levels of power. The scale of corruption we have uncovered is unprecedented, he stated, but justice will be served, and those responsible will face consequences. To ensure transparency and fairness, he signed an executive order on day one, banning government censorship and removing bureaucrats who had conspired against free speech. Trump detailed the sweeping actions of his administration to root out corruption. He revoked the security clearances of intelligence agents who had lied about Hunter Biden's infamous laptop from hell. He also stripped disgraced prosecutors like Jack Smith, Alvin Bragg, and Letitia James of their authority, calling them partisan operatives abusing the justice system. Furthermore, his administration terminated the clearance of Joe Biden and his family, declaring that they never deserved it in the first place. He pointed out the hypocrisy in the legal system, stating, "They let Biden go," calling him incompetent rather than guilty. "Honestly, I would have rather been convicted than declared incapable of knowing what I was doing." Among his most significant actions, Trump pardoned hundreds of political prisoners who had been unfairly targeted for their beliefs. He also removed senior FBI officials who had misused their power to raid homes and prosecute innocent Americans. "One of my greatest honors," he recalled, was firing James Comey. It was a decision that saved the administration and exposed the deep corruption within the system. To ensure justice, Trump announced the creation of a new DOJ task force to combat anti-Christian bias. He also empowered Kash Patel to reform the FBI, relocating agents from Washington, D.C., headquarters to the streets, where they belonged. "We don't need an enormous building in Maryland," he said. "What we need are dedicated agents making our cities safer." He also highlighted his commitment to law enforcement, ensuring their presence in the nation's capital to deter crime. His vision extended beyond law enforcement. Trump was determined to restore Washington, D.C., to its former glory. "We are cleaning up our capital," he announced. "The tents are coming down. The graffiti is being removed. And the city will once again be a beacon of pride for America." He shared how, during visits from world leaders such as Prime Minister Modi and the French president. He ensured they saw a pristine and dignified capital rather than one overrun with crime and disorder. As he spoke, Trump reflected on legendary basketball coach Bobby Knight, who had once endorsed him. Bobby was tough, but he loved America, Trump recalled. He called me years before my campaign and told me, "If you ever run, I'll endorse you." And he did. He was a true fighter. Just like we need now to save this country. With a resounding conclusion, Trump reaffirmed his mission: we will restore justice. We will rebuild America. And we will ensure that law and order reign once more. The crowd erupted in applause, knowing that a new era of accountability, fairness, and justice had begun under his leadership. President Trump took the stage before a crowd of devoted supporters, sharing a remarkable story about legendary basketball coach Bobby Knight. He recalled the moment he discovered Knight's unwavering support, digging through a massive stack of papers, thousands of pages deep, only to find a small card with Knight's name and number on it. "It was incredible," Trump said. "I tell this story all the time. I picked up the phone, dialed, and Bobby answered right away. I've been waiting for your call," he said. From that moment, Knight became a powerful advocate, filling arenas in Indiana with passionate crowds. "He made a speech for me. And after that, it was over. We won in a landslide." Trump recounted how Knight's larger-than-life presence extended beyond basketball. "He was a tough guy. A real motivator," Trump said with admiration. One memorable moment stood out. After finishing his speech, Knight suddenly returned to the stage. "I thought, this could be trouble," Trump joked. But Knight had something to add. "Let me tell you something about Trump," he declared. "If he has to, he'll use the nuclear weapons we have. He has no fear. That's the kind of leader he is." After delivering that shocking statement, Knight walked off, later admitting to Trump, "I think I might be in trouble for that one." Despite the controversy, Trump's campaign thrived. "We won that state by a landslide," he reminded the crowd, before shifting his focus to the challenges facing the country. "This moment in time is even more significant than that victory," he declared. One media outlet called our last election the most consequential in 129 years. "But if we do our job, this next one will be even bigger." He laid out the damage done under the current administration: open borders, the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal, inflation crushing American families, and global conflicts that never would have happened under his leadership. "Iran was broke when I was in office, no money going to Hamas. Hezbollah was broke," he emphasized. October 7th never would have happened. He pointed to the economic turmoil, but also recent signs of improvement. "Gas prices are coming down. Inflation is slowing. And we're making progress. But we want more. We want groceries to be affordable again. We want bacon prices down." He took a moment to recognize those working alongside him. "I want to thank Susie. What an incredible job she's done." A big magazine even called her the most powerful woman in the world. "And you know what? I'm okay with that." He also praised Judge Aileen Cannon, who had been unfairly attacked in the media. "These fake lawyers and corrupt media went after her, calling her slow, biased, everything they could throw at her," he said. "But she was brilliant, she was strong, and she dismissed the case against me because it was total nonsense." Drawing another parallel to Bobby Knight, Trump pointed out how political operatives try to intimidate judges. "Bobby knew how to play the ref," he said. "He'd scream at them, throw a chair if he had to. Not because of that call, but to influence the next one." The same tactic, he explained, was being used against conservative judges. "They're trying to scare them into convicting me, into ruling against us. It's completely illegal." He reminded the audience of the relentless attacks on Supreme Court justices. "Look at what they did to Justice Thomas. To Justice Kavanaugh. They smear. They intimidate. Why? Because judges are human. They don't want their families harassed, their reputations destroyed." But Trump made one thing clear: they can try all they want. But we are fighting back. And we are going to win. As the crowd erupted in applause, Trump's message was unmistakable. This was not just a campaign. It was a battle for the soul of the country. We have one shot to restore America, to bring back justice, strength, and prosperity. And together, we are going to do it. They put judges in a tough position, making it hard to fight back. Many get weak under pressure. But Judge Cannon in Florida stood strong. She faced relentless attacks but remained resolute. It was sad to see how they treat judges and even the Supreme Court. Many of my appointed judges endure this abuse from media like the New York Times and the Washington Post. They fear bad publicity, and it's clear judicial interference, likely illegal. This coordinated effort is led by corrupt figures like Andrew Weissman and Jack Smith. Manipulating the system. One guy, Norm Eisen of Crew, has targeted me for years. His only goal is to take down Trump. Despite all their efforts, I'm still here. The media, like CNN and MSNBC, act as political arms of the Democrats, attacking me no matter what. Even when the opposition fails, they push their narrative, but we are restoring law, order, and integrity to the government. We're fixing the FBI and DOJ, ensuring fairness in courts and elections because without them, we don't have a country. Biden has led the U.S. into chaos, Russia, inflation, border crises. He doesn't even know what he's signing with AutoPen. Meanwhile, we've had the most successful first month of any presidency. Like a golfer sinking his first putt. We've built momentum. Ukraine is collapsing. Despite billions in aid, their soldiers are surrounded. I urged them, don't kill those men. This never would have happened under my leadership. Neither would inflation. Neither would October 7th. Biden let Iran get rich overnight by lifting sanctions. Afghanistan? A disaster. We abandoned Bagram Air Base, now controlled by China. That humiliating retreat emboldened Putin. Crime is out of control, homicides up. Car thefts soaring. Cities unsafe. Why? Open borders. Millions of criminals poured in. Stone-cold killers. Women can't ride the subway without fear. We used to feel safe. That's why I'm taking action. Checkmark firing radical prosecutors. Checkmark restoring police power. Checkmark sealing the border. America will be safe, strong, and proud again. God bless America. Now, we're working to end the war in Ukraine. Biden let it happen, but we're negotiating peace. I've spoken to Putin, and progress is being made. If I had been president, this war would never have started. Millions of lives are at stake, and we must act. Under Biden's open border policies, murderers walked in freely. One of them, an MS-13 member, brutally killed 20-year-old Kayla in her home. Her grieving parents, along with other angel families, are here today. Their pain fuels our fight. On day one, I declared a national emergency at the border. In our first month, illegal crossings hit historic lows, even lower than before. We didn't need new laws. We needed a new president. We've labeled MS-13 and the Venezuelan Tren de Aragua as foreign terrorist organizations. These gangs took over parts of America, forcing tenants from their homes. One man called the police. They cut off his fingers. Now, we're driving them out. Some are too dangerous to deport. They belong behind bars. We forced Mexico's hand, securing the extradition of 29 top cartel leaders, including the man behind the 1985 murder of DEA agent Kiki Camarena. We're hitting China, Canada, and Mexico with tariffs until the flood of fentanyl stops. Fentanyl kills more Americans annually than the Korean, Iraq, and Afghanistan wars combined. One pill killed 15-year-old Weston, a Trump-loving high school freshman. His mother, standing with us today, knows only I can stop this crisis. America is fighting back. We're securing the border, crushing crime, and bringing safety back. This is just the beginning under our leadership. America is reclaiming its strength and restoring justice. Today, we stand with the families who have lost loved ones to fentanyl. The innocent victims of open border policies. They are not just statistics, they are sons, daughters, parents, and dreams stolen too soon. Weston, a 15-year-old boy who loved America, lost his life to a single pill. His mother, despite her heartbreak, stands here today to fight for other families. And I know Weston is watching. Proud of his mother, we will not stop until we have completely eradicated fentanyl. In just the first 2 months, we have seized nearly 1 million deadly doses, enough to kill the entire U.S. We are waging an all-out war against drug traffickers, and we will win. I spoke with the president of Mexico, and when I asked why their country doesn't suffer from drug addiction like we do, she said, "We have strong family bonds, and we educate our people with brutal awareness campaigns." That made me wake up. And immediately, we launched an unprecedented media campaign, exposing the devastating effects of drugs. If people see the horrors drugs inflict, they will stay away. I believe if we execute this campaign correctly, we can reduce overdose deaths by at least 55%. But one painful truth remains. Just a tiny amount of fentanyl, as small as a pinhead, is enough to kill the strongest person in the room. These drug dealers are not just criminals, they are murderers. And we will hunt them down. Under our leadership, justice is being restored. We are defending our borders, our people, and the future of America. We will fight, and we will win. God bless America. God bless you all. Right as you see there, we were just listening into President Trump as he made remarks there at the Department of Justice. This was a long-awaited speech, and so we've been promising that we're going to bring it to you here on a live now from Vox for the last few hours, but again during that speech talking about a myriad of things but still focusing a lot on fentanyl and what his administration plans to do as they seek to root that out of the United States of America. And as you see there, he's standing alongside Attorney General Pam Bondi, both walking behind the curtain at this point, both speaking again today with those remarks at the Department of Justice. Wanted to bring that to you here on live now from Fox.